Hello and good afternoon. Thanks for coming and joining this session where we will talk about healthcare, about the technology for health and care, what we call the health tech. So I'm Irakli and I run Ekimo, and I'm sure most of you have it. So Ekimo is a full-stack Georgian health tech company where we are connecting patients and healthcare services. We are increasing the accessibility to the services. And for those of you who don't know Ekimo has quite a bunch of features. Just briefly, how it works. So, we have 3 years of history in Georgia, and today around 500,000 users are using our technologies for healthcare. If we see the global standings, how the consumer side healthcare is digitalized, the almost more than 10% of our population who are actively using our technologies, we are in top 10 tier of the healthcare digitalization. It's a quite exceptional story what we have here. Besides the numbers which you can see on the screen, Ekimo has a very interesting practice how we developed in different paths of the time. We have the COVID, we have post-COVID and and pre-COVID periods, and those are the key experience I would like to share with you. So, let's start from health. I don't know if you're ever aware of those celebrities like Muhammad Ali, Ozzy Osbourne, what they have in common. The common is their brutal disease, what's called Parkinson's, and around the world, 10 million human has the Parkinson's disease. And Parkinson is one of the most difficult case of disease because almost it's impossible to have a pre-diagnostic results where you can start working on it on time. So 1 out of 4 patients are misdiagnosed, and when they are diagnosed, 60% of their dopamine is already depleted and almost there is no chance. And Parkinson's might be developing in around 10 to 20 years where we don't have any kind of symptoms. Symptoms we call the biomarkers. So in case of Parkinson's, it's very difficult to have any kind of visible biomarkers. But there is one very difficult and quite complicated biomarker which can be found by the technology. So when we walk, who don't have any kind of maybe motor dysfunction, our hip is making some pattern of movements. This movement is quite common for us. If we are walking normally, this movement draws line like that. In case of Parkinson's, this movement has kind of stops and drops. But in order to find out those stops and drops, you have two options. Either you have to put the patient on the treadmill and you observe under the medical doctor for 2 to 3 years of walking, and it's impossible to observe someone on treadmill for 2 to 3 years, or we might find another way through technology. And the good thing is that a couple of months ago, the very first medical FDA has been issued for the iPhone and Apple Watch application, which can monitor the pattern of walking for early diagnostics of the Parkinson's. And for those 10 million people around the world, and many more who are under the risk or are already under the disease, will have the pre-diagnostic tools and technologies and technology improvements will make their symptoms earlier to be raised. This is the one out of many things what technology can do for our health. And as we always say, if we don't have health, nothing matters. Health tech is has a quite wide array of domains, starting from the mental health to the telehealth, which I will talk about because it's one of our key features in Ekimo. It's fitness, elderly care, what we call, and etc. But our reality is that maybe Gmail has more personal information than our medical record, and especially the young age, because the younger we are, less engagement we have to the medical services. And maybe Amazon knows us better than our personal doctor. In Georgian reality, we have some complicated, and it's not pure Georgian, but compared to EU, the portion of household budget, what we are spending on healthcare, on clothing, on travel, etc., we are spending 3 times more on healthcare services than the average EU citizen. It means that we are spending 3 times more on medicines, 3 times more on doctors, 3 times more on some diagnostics. And this has some reasons which create this kind of non-similarities. And the main perception of healthcare, what we have is that we are going to the doctor when we need it, and for us, the healthcare equals medicine. But medicine is a part of healthcare, and healthcare itself is how we live, how we eat, how we sleep, and how we feel. It's about not only the medical conditions or numbers or standings, but about surroundings. Before I move on to share your experience from this perspective, we need to find out where we are now, where we are coming from. So just to have 5 questions in mind, maybe without answers, maybe we have with some answers. What's happening now? So throughout the last 2-3 years, especially throughout the COVID, the increase of healthcare services, telemedicine, virtual care, remote services has been skyrocketing increasing. And some of them are stable. I mean, some of them are of course going down, but some of the practices of taking care of your health, taking care before you need it, some checkups, has been remained. Almost more than 4,000% has been increased the virtual care. Virtual care means having conversation to your doctor without needing to visit their office. So how does the nature of medical work has changed? Certain things, of course, can't be done virtually. Some operations, some difficult and complicated therapeutics will be done on site. But if we ask doctors what is the one thing, if they will cut the 50% of their traffic, it's just kaleidoscope and the application, kaleidoscope on the patient side and the application on the doctor side, where doctor can hear the key vitals of the patient. And the improvements like that, the improvements which are quite incremental, not a big leap, can cut the traffic to the clinics. The AI has been increasing and has been developing quite a rapid pace. I think one of the most developed technology we have, and especially for the healthcare. If we see, this is the graph of the usability of the AI versus human. So human is better when we have a social interactions, and AI is better when we have some measurement and precious data. For example, in terms of doctors and general practitioners, where the social interaction is needed, AI is not a good substitute or good help. But in terms of radiology, we have the imagery and see the images of MRI, etc. AI works better and more precious than human. But just exchanging human by the AI is not a best option. The best always is the combination of human expertise and experience and the knowledge and precious of the AI. When we asked some of our maybe the most experienced radiologists what is the best option, is that they have some sense or gut feeling, and the help of the precious data, their work or diagnostic is almost unmistaken. could the telemedicine or remote care worsen inequality? So today, the inequality is one of the biggest terms in healthcare. Inequality means that the access to the healthcare from rural spaces, especially, not only, but thanks to the access to the internet and in our reality, because the territory of Georgia is not a big, we have some good perspectives ahead. How does the drug discovery change? So just briefly, the drug discovery is when we find out some vaccine or some new drug for new disease, etc. We already experienced how this waiting for the vaccine discovery was. So when we did not know either it would be in 1 year or in 10 years. So what will happen in the next outbreak? How much time will it need to be discovered, the next vaccine? What technology helps us in this term is that the best version of technology can simulate the human trials. So this is the main part where the most time is consumed, where you are making one formula and testing on 1, 2, 3 human, etc. You need tens of thousands to get the result. And the formula is always at the end of the story. So this is the fourth main direction where the technology will improve our life. And what happens as health information is democratized. So democratization of information is like Wikipedia. We have some fun about Wikipedia, of course, but this is one of the most modern way how the information democratization works, where we are making up. But in health, it's a bit dangerous. And we are more aware of some terms for our health, but sometimes we are making some prior assumptions or decisions about our health, and it might create some danger for us. So this is also the thing we need to think about before having engagement or before we make a decision. So as I already mentioned from the starting of the Ekimo, which we are making on like 3 years, we have some expertise which can be shared, and it's relevant not only for healthcare, but also for the general technology. And the first, which I would like to show, is to a fast, simple, and ugly MVP. And I can say that if it's not ugly, maybe you are a bit late, because this is a mistake we already made when we were refining and making it perfect, and the time flowed. Speed is a superpower, of course, but speeding to the wrong direction is also one case. So if we are going to the wrong direction, it's better to find out it faster. But speeding the learning process will give us a true superpower. The next is timing. Some Martin Luther said that time is always right to do what is right. Maybe not always. And time will shape your product. So it depends on when you will and where you will. It will highlight or make some part of it in a spotlight, and some will not. For in our case, when we launched, it was in late 2019 or early 2020, and after a couple of weeks, the COVID outbreak has been. The part of the time-sensitive features, like it was a remote features, not checkup, but remote, for example, ordering some PCR tests at home, has been increased, the demand has been increased and skyrocketing. So it was quite a feature which was not very in top 5 maybe. So time will shape how it will work. Find a product market fit and then hire a big staff. It will be a kind of my experience which I would like to share, because hiring is one of the most important things you can do. And remember that amateurs build the Ark of Noah and the professionals build the Titanic. So when you are hiring, try to hire an attitude and train for skill. The attitude is what will help you to move fast. Competitors for the startups, maybe technology companies of different type. In our case, it's a health tech. They are not health techs or technology companies like us, and don't spend too much time on looking to companies like you. The main competitor is the traditional brick and mortar businesses. They are established, they are big, they are safe, and they are doing what they know very well. Interest of big institutions is the thing which might survive you or make you dead. In our case, those are the pharmacy, insurance providers, or clinics. And before you start using the disruption of some big industries, just stop 1 second and ask yourself, are you? Because disruption is an attacking game, and based on the rule of war, when you're attacking, you need 10 times more soldiers. And before you start disruption, ask yourself, do you have 10 times better product, or 10 times better customer experience, or 10 times better, more satisfied customer, cost, etc.? If you don't, it's better to find the alignment, some mutual ties with them, and create some added value. It's very difficult to play a zero-sum game for the big, well-established businesses. They are in defense mode. So zero-sum game is when there's only winner and loser. When winner has 1, the loser automatically has -1, so the sum is 0. So in those terms, try to avoid the zero-sum games and create the added value where you will have 1 + 1. Find who are the opinion makers in your industry. In our case, they are doctors. So when you are in the room of doctor, remember that the doctor is God. The doctor said you believe in it. Either the opposite to be said 100 people, or a media, or TV, or friend who is most influential, doctor said is what you will believe. So in different industries, there are different doctors who are making opinions, who are creating, who are making the adoption of innovation. So try to find who are those people and make them friends of you. The next thing which we made, and we are sometimes making still a couple of times, is to set low prices and believe that customers will buy. No, they won't. Price is the one of the pillars of the value you are delivering. So it's experience, and try to experience wow, try to over-deliver, and try to create positive expectations in them. If we are making positive expectations, even the high prices will be accepted, and the price game won't be on the stake, because the lower the price, lower the margin, and the difficult for businesses to survive. But still now we are making some of those biases, because sometimes we are over-believing in what we think and doing without A/B testing. And our system 1 thinking, which a couple of sessions ago was talking one of our colleagues, is always more comfortable than system 2, where you need to think about some complicated and ask questions 1 more time. Customer or patient, who is the customer of healthcare? For us, it's a bit complicated. 80% of family healthcare decisions are made by women. So the decision mostly made by a mother, by a wife, or by maybe someone who has more awareness in the family. And they are making decisions not only for them, but for their loved ones, for their children, for husband, for parents. So the interesting fact is that when we are making decisions, even about health, which is very complicated, when we are making decisions about our loved ones, we are more demanding. Just to forget, from our perspective, it's difficult to measure or track or find out the behavior or buying patterns of the customer who is buying men's stuff, child stuff, elderly stuff, and women's stuff. It's a different story. But generally, they are more demanding, and if a customer is not only for them, but for their loved ones, remember that they are a couple of times more and more demanding, and they are even more to be taken care of. So number 9 is seeking shortcuts and cutting the corners, which is a kind of, I think, evolutionary trait of a human. We are always trying to find ways which are easier, to find ways which are shorter, and to do something with less energy. But as usual, such kind of approaches in most cases are just power biased. So shortcuts won't get us to the places worth going. And in any case, we are making such kind of biased decision. We are stuck. Instead of it, we need to create a clarity and drive the action and think about the three top and main things, which are the strategy, people, and culture. And remember that maybe the last one is the most important. You need to find people who are in accordance to culture, in a set of values, and who are sharing the strategy. But if the culture is not in accordance and is not shared, it's a maybe Drucker's quote that the culture is eating a strategy on a breakfast. So any kind of strategy won't be applied. But if you do those top things right, the rest will follow, and the rest will done automatically in the right way. But if you mistake there will be lots of energy lost, and there will be lots of roar unheard. The people you will hire will be different people. So there is one interesting experiment about UFOs. UFOs, I'm sure maybe know, it's unidentified flight objects. So there are people in every group who believe in it and who don't. I think here we are as well. So in this small experiment, the group who believed in UFOs, we are given the papers which expose the opposite idea, that UFOs does not exist, and people who were non-believers, we are given the scientific papers who was proving that the UFOs exist. And after reading and after some time, both of the groups, they are more convinced what they believed before. So if you want to make enemies, try to change people. In any case, we are doing that. We are getting stronger than in their opinions which is difficult to change only by the opposite arguments. And the last one is measure what matters. So the measurement tools might be different and difficult, and those are quite advanced things we are doing, and some of the speakers we are talking about in deeper sense. But just to zoom out and from a helicopter view, if your technology, it might be app, web, or else. If customer is buying in it, the most important KPI is revenue. If the customer is not buying in it, like in Facebook, the usage is the more important. There are different types of revenues and different types of usage, but at the end of the day, those are the key zoom out things we need to look for. So this is what I had for you for today. I hope you get some insights. Thank you so much for your attention. This presentation will be shared for you later, and in case of questions, I will be around. Thanks.